Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Ostranauts. Episode 4, Loading the Can to the Max. So I think one of the rules I'm going to play by is I am not going to stack loot. So I have as much space as I have on the floor, and I won't, like, cheese it. But let's go ahead and flip the state of that battery, like I just mentioned, and try to get power back on. Now, sometimes it's not worth it. If it looks like the ship has, like, relatively intact conduits, it can be worth it. But if there's, like, a lot of break in the conduits, it's not all that helpful. But if you don't have break in the conduits, it could be really helpful, because then you can, you might be able to just open up doors that otherwise would have been blocked. First install on a derelict. During long shifts spent eviscerating half-dead ships in the boneyard, you often wonder what it would be like to do the opposite. This is basically saying, like, this is the text for, like, fixing up a ship and nursing it back to health. That's not what I'm doing. I'm literally just trying to turn the lights on, but I'll read this anyway. Why wrench out the beating heart of a wounded ship when you could just nurse it back to health instead? The question returns to you as you look around this derelict, now through the eyes of a self-employed spacer. Yeah! The prospect of finding an answer that has you feeling like an uncaged animal. The sound of you breathing repeats in your helmet and grows more eager with every exhalation. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that's text, flavor text, of like, hey, you're fixing up your first ship, which is actually not what I'm doing. And then we'll talk about what is worth grabbing here. We're going to have a lot of alarms here, because obviously there's a lot of, like, sensor alarms that are going to be freaking out because power is off and Atmo's off and all that stuff. But yeah, this helps because these doors are going to be able to be opened and closed rather than, like, pried or uninstalled. So we are looking for a heatsink. Oh, they have a CO2 scrubber. That's a really expensive part. We're looking for a heatsink here. And then we'll start to probably fix the N2 issue with our ship before we do anything else. So I can grab, like, this N2, this air pump, and that will easily fix my issues. All right. Crate thinks it can lock. That's a joke. Beepity boop. Oh, we have a bigger backpack. So I'm going to put my PDA on the ground, grab this comm part, switch it out, and the comm part is a 4x4 with pouches. So now this is going to be my my backpack, and then additionally, I'm just literally dropping the toolbox that I had on the ground because all my tools are going to be in the pouch slots of this thing, so that I have a free hand now. All right, there's a bed if I wanted to sleep. Food, free food. This O2 can is relatively pressurized, which means it's relatively expensive. The sink might have water in it, but I don't have my water pouch on me. We have a lot of doors. And then some of the bins here are on the outside. We've got broken coolers, the CO2 scrubber, thrusters. Have I been in this room? I don't think I have. Was there a PDA? I didn't see an extra PDA. Oh, my PDA, right. I want to pick mine back up. Or is that's in my pouch. All right. There's a floor bin. Ooh, there was a PDA in the floor bin. Haha. All right, this door is in my way, so let's uninstall it. It's probably gonna be faster. All right, let's start bringing back the expensive stuff and then fix the N2 problem that we have in our ship. So what I'm going to do here is just uninstall the air pump that's on our ship. I don't need to fix it. There's working air pumps in the other ship. So here's the broken pump dropped. I'm also going to take the canister, uninstall this canister. What I'm going to do instead of fixing what was wrong with the ship, I'm just going to design it differently entirely. I don't want to put back what was here. I want it different. And I'll explain the process in a minute. So the canister's down. All right, in this spot, the small electric parts I'm going to pick back up. So what I intend to do is install a pump here with the N2 can here, mimicking what you see over here with this air pump, where we have the air pump with an N2 can that pumps gas into the compartment, repressurizing our environment with nitrogen, because you want nitrogen and oxygen in your ship. So I can take one of these air pumps here, ideally one that is like in really good condition. So this one's in pretty good condition. Uninstall it and then reinstall it on my ship. The other thing I might want to do is to make sure that I have a full set of good sensors, because I know that there's a lot of broken stuff on my ship, and install those temperature sensor, O2 sensor, CO2 sensor, and N2 sensors on my ship, so that if I have some sort of gas problem, I know it before I asphyxiate. What the hell just happened to that pump? Yo, where'd the pump go? Did I jettison it? Yes. Okay, let's get a different one. Pumps are cheap. That's a turbo pump. I don't really want turbo. Turbos are, like, faster. They can do the same as a normal pump, but I just want to put a normal pump in. And I will make sure not to jettison stuff like that again. All right, pick up and walk it into the ship, please. All right, install. This way. So the red arrow is the gas intake, and then the thing that looks kind of like a radiator is the gas output. So that's the correct direction. And what I want to do is I want to grab an N2 can and then also an N2 alarm. So there's an O2 alarm. Do I have a working O2 alarm on my ship? I have a broken CO2 alarm, so I need a CO2 alarm. Yeah, let's walk into the ship and figure out actually what we need, because I'm not even really sure. So, obviously, nothing's going to be installed in the airlock. I don't want things installed in the airlock. Doesn't make sense. We have a broken CO2 alarm, so I'm going to uninstall it and hope that I get a different one. The CO2 alarms are small enough that you can pocket them, unlike parts where you have to drag it. All right, we have got broken batteries, messed up conduit and wall. We have a working thermostat. So working thermostat allows us to regulate the temperature of the ship with a cooler and a heater, which we have one cooler, one heater. We have a second cooler that's broken, but given the size of our ship, we don't really need two coolers. We do have an O2 alarm here, so O2 alarm's fine. We don't need an O2 alarm. I think we need a CO2 alarm and an N2 alarm. I believe, if I recall correctly, there was an Atmo alarm in here. But O2 and, or CO2 and N2. Got it. So let's, deep breath. Let's go find those things. Just dropping this broken thing. And we can kind of follow the alarms. So there's a thermostat here, but we don't need one. Because the alarms are like what's freaking out and saying, hey, there's problems. So here's an N2 alarm. I can uninstall it and take that with me. Pick up. So we got our N2. And now I need, if I'm not mistaken, a CO2 alarm. And there probably is one somewhere. Yep, here's the CO2 alarm. Uninstall that and take it with me. Alright, this N2 can is 97% full, so that's kind of perfect. Basically free nitrogen. And drag that back to the pump. Install right there. Okay. At this point, let's install the CO2 pressure alarm. And the N2 pressure alarm. And then my N2 pressure alarm is, you can see, red. And the reason for this is the pump is actually not set up to use it yet. So then we go to this pump, go to the control panel, and hit the screw for the input, hit the input, and the input for the pressure alarm is going to be this N2 alarm. And now, if we wait, as you can see, the pressure in our cabin is climbing. Because the pump here is now hooked up to the sensor, so the sensor can tell it, hey, I need more gas. And then the pump releases gas and pressurizes our cabin again. So now we have refillable cabin pressure. We're good. There is a lot else that's wrong with our boat, though. So I think what I want to do next is strip out all the parts that are just broken. Because if I don't need them, they're dead weight. So like the dead batteries, the dead cooler. There's a lot of components on this boat here that isn't doing anything for me and requires me to burn more fuel to move around because it makes me more massive. So why the hell need it, right? The other thing is the CO2 alarm normally would hook up to a CO2 scrubber. I could repair and install that CO2 scrubber, but CO2 scrubbing is more what you would do. It's not, how to put it? It's not strictly necessary for me to have a CO2 scrubber when I'm just hopping around on short runs. Did I really put my welder away? Is this my welder? No. What happened? Is my welder in my pressure suit? Dear Lord. I am, okay. That might be true. I'm misplacing my tools like I'm harebrained. Alright, we'll have to go back to the pressure suit and grab the welder out of that, because I paid money for that thing. But I brought back another roughly full O2 can. Okay. Pressure suit. Inventory. Wait, where? I don't see the welder. Was it in my overalls? No? Well, whatever. I have a different one. I don't need to fix this. I found a spare. Alright, pulling up pieces I don't want. So this bin is... I'm going to pry it open, because I don't know if it's empty. No, it has some scrap stuff. Is it in the small pouch of the EVA? Of the pressure suit? No, it's not in the clip point. because I just put that on. Because bins that are broken still can have contents. So in this case, like I wanted, this bin is broken, but I still wanted to open it up to make sure it didn't have anything nice in it before I toss it out. All right, the battery is busted. Take that too. This ship has a lot of batteries. It had 4 large batteries and I think a small battery, if I'm not mistaken. I thought there was a small battery in here. Which is honestly just a lot of power. We don't need all that power. Unless we're going to do a much longer run. All right, this battery is going to go too. There's a lot of like jank wiring going on here too, which we could fix. And then like there's some weird switches and stuff, broken switches. There's a lot of broken everything. I'm not gonna lie. The ship we started with is Garbo. But taking all this stuff and dropping it off is, I feel like Marie Kondo here. This is bringing me joy. So we're going to want to probably replace at some point the patched walls. I'm not going to do that right now because it would dump all the pressure of our ship out to vacuum. But at some point we will try to buy some Ryoka B1 walls so that it looks normal. Because the ship that we docked with doesn't have the same walls we do. So maybe if we end up finding a ship with the same wall type, I will go bother with that. So this battery here is actually not hooked up to anything. And interestingly, oh no, this is a small battery, isn't it? Okay, so we're probably going to want one of the larger ship batteries on the other ship. So that I have... Because we're getting rid of a bunch of our potential power as a result of those batteries being broken. All right, so 3 broken pieces. Got it. I want to clean up some of the conduit that is on our boat, because the conduit is a mess too. It's going to be hard to maintain. So the conduit I like is, yeah, the Albright conduit. So let's grab the good Albright stuff and not the emergency conduit. It doesn't really matter. Conduit is conduit in the end of the day, but I'd rather have like conduit that looks decent. Oh, I just uninstalled the wall. Good job, me. All right, let's try this again. Uninstall the conduit, please. And we'll fix some of the conduit issues that we have on our ship that is ridiculous. So, grabbed 4 spare conduit. Coming back down to our boat. We've got this, like, weird patch here. So instead, I'm going to uninstall this broken conduit. Pick up the broken conduit, and we'll be throwing this broken conduit away, and then subsequently installing working conduit here, so we can bypass this, like, weird patch thing that was going on. So this jumper jack emergency cabling is like temporary conduit that you install when you have like a blowout or something. And I'm getting rid of it because I don't need it. I am going to need to move my my battery charger, but that's fine. Just a little rewiring. And then we have a little bit of rewiring over here as well. So let's drop all of this junk conduit out. So the good stuff I'm keeping, the bad stuff I'm tossing. Got it. So we have some joke conduit over here too. So the broken stuff in the wall, it's gotten installed. And we will replace the good stuff. So this is probably a result of like a micrometeorite impact, which ended up punching holes in the wall. And that's just like by map gen. This happened before, of course, I inherited this ship. It came damaged. And I'll work a little bit more comfortably without helmet on. It's cooler for sure. Suits are always hot, kind of uncomfortable. So we still, of course, have tons of patched floors and walls, but at least some of the patched cabling is resolved, and that's going to make it a lot more sensible to, like, work around the ship. There's one more weird patch down here. Okay, cool. Cooler needs to be uninstalled. That one's broken. And then I think, other than the battery charger that we have, which I believe needs a heatsink, which we'll go fetch, I think everything that is, like, busted on our ship completely, beyond repair, has mostly been resolved. So I'll drop the fresh conduit on the ground, and then drag all the other parts that we don't want, dump them out here. So bad cooler. Coolers, however, are real pricey to sell. So it might be in my best interest to actually fix up this cooler and repair it and bring it back to market. But there's other things that might be more expensive on the ship that would be better. So here's another compact battery that we could bring back. I think what I'm going to do is uninstall this compact battery and install it to illuminate this ship, and then take the bigger battery back to my ship. So we have two big batteries. Two big batteries keeping the lights on in my primary ship. In my Folk. What was this? What was the name of the ship? Folk something? Folk Punk? Alright. Battery install. Point to the wall. I'm going to flip this battery around as well. This battery is facing the switch here. And I'd rather it not, because I have plans for that switch. So this one is going to be... Pick it up. Facing the wall as well. So the connection point is the electrical. So this little red arrow pointing to the wall means it will be connected that way. They're directional. Oh, what the hell? Thank you, error console. Oh, that's because my ship depowered. Why is this battery... Oh, because it has no charge. Got it. Alright, this switch is going to be uninstalled. And then installed here instead. Then this battery is going to be installed. And installed like this. So this compact battery is going to be a backup battery with the switch off. Basically, if my primary battery runs out of power, I can flick this switch and use this compact battery as a backup battery. So that I'm not like dead in the water floating around screwed. It's a good it's a good practice to get into so that you don't get in a situation where you have no power and you can't go anywhere. So now we have a backup battery set up. Awesome. This bin is broken, so let's pry it open. It's got nothing worth anything in it, so I'm going to uninstall it and bring it out. Hey, Ban. Arutha, thank you for the sub, and Banlish for the raid, man. You're playing Shadows of Doubt? Sweet. How did it go today? And I'm down here. I know I'm tiny in the bottom left. I'm much smaller than I normally would be. Welcome, dude. Always a pleasure to have you here. Chugging the last of my coffee just for you. I am just starting off playing Ostranauts here. Now, for those that don't know, it's like a hardcore space noir salvaging game. Kind of like hard space shipbreaker, but like more technical, more difficult, and I love it. It's a great game. Hard to get into, but it is a great game when you do. So I think I've gone through the entire ship and pulled out all the parts that sucked or was broken, other than this battery charger. That battery charger needs oh no, there's another bin over here. Let's pry this one open. Cheers. And Vengali, thank you for the resub too. And this bin is got trash in it, so we'll uninstall that. Anything else broken? I think, oh no, there's a bin up here that needs to go. God, everywhere I look, there's just broken parts everywhere. Your viewers were asking for Ostranauts, but then you let them vote, and they voted for Shadows of Doubt. Yes, I know a little bit about Shadows of Doubt. I haven't actually played it myself, but it does look pretty cool. My own viewers have been saying, hey, play Shadows of Doubt. So, speaking of which, if you want to see Shadows of Doubt, Panlish's VODs is the place to be. See? Synergy. Alright. This bin was yet another one that was busted. This is a pretty big bin, so it's kind of sad that it's broken. I could repair it. So I will. Because it's a nice, like, large bin, and it's in a decent location. So I'll just fix it up. I'll restore it later, though. I'll restore it a tiny bit so it doesn't immediately re-break. Because there is a little bit of wear and tear. Alright, at this point, I think everything that was broken has been removed. Except for this battery charger. So let's deal with that battery charger before I forget, because I keep mentioning it, and I'm getting tired of saying that thing over and over. There is a heatsink out here that I am going to get, and I'll install it in that and repair that battery charger, that suit charger. So we are grabbing repair parts to repair this thing. Oh, we've already delivered everything it needs. Perfect. So this battery charger here will allow us to recharge our suit batteries off of our ship. I'm a little running low on power, but it should be okay. Famous last words, but it should be okay. I'm not going to restore it all the way up. So we did have this battery charger that I changed the cabling on the base, and it's no longer wired up to anything. So let's reinstall this along the wall. If I move my shoe's in the way. And then maybe I'm actually going to move the N2 alarm. So I'll have to rewire up the N2 pump so that we can put the other charger there. So N2 alarm, how about you go right above that battery charger? I'll move my overalls, and then in this spot we'll put the other charger. Because the other charger I just like slapped down on the ground, and that's really not where I intended it to be. Ideally, you kind of want your battery chargers towards the front of your ship, so if you do run out of battery for the tools that you're using, you can like hot swap quickly. So my current tools, the welder's at 70%, soldering iron 80, drill at 46. So let's go ahead and interact with the battery charger, the GOT battery charger. Oh, the charger doesn't have a battery in it. Copy that. So we don't have a spare battery. All right, that's fine. Okay. Now would be a really good time to tidy up some of the salvage that I have. And then start grabbing the really pricey stuff from the wreck. Because this wreck has some really expensive parts on it that would be fantastic to salvage and sell. And then my backpack, the random like repair parts that I have, I'm going to start putting them in the bulkhead bins. Because what's going to end up happening here is I'm going to have a lot to sell, and I don't want to fill my my inventory with like or my ship with junk. All right, looks good. Let's go grab some sexy stuff. Oh, rewire the N2? Yeah, that's a good call. Let's do that before I forget. So, control panel. It's already inputted. Perfect. I think it saves to the, like, device ID, if you will. So it didn't even need rewiring. Alright, so the stuff we want to grab here. The laser array and the pellet feeder are pretty expensive components of the fusion reactor and the reactor core as well. These things do need repairs, so I'm just gonna, like, queue up repairs and have my character deliver the required repair materials. And then effect the repairs. Because, yeah, they were pretty messed up and need a lot of repairs. I'm feeling like an outcast. I'll go into, like, the psychology behind managing characters eventually. I'm not too concerned about that right now. So other parts that are really nice would be the CO2 scrubber. Maybe the coolers if I could repair them. Those are probably the big ticket items. And so we got reactor core, laser array, pellet feeder, CO2 scrubber. And that's going to be like a fair percentage of the value of the things here. And I don't know how much room I'm actually going to physically have for that stuff. So we'll see. So laser array, uninstall. Can reactor cores blow up? Not on derelicts for the most part, because they're not on. So they're inert, effectively. When it's on a derelict, but like when you're running it, yeah, absolutely, you could blow it up. All right, let's dump our our CO2. Ooh, nice, fresh breath. Character's getting a little thirst. You know what? Actually, let's solve that thirst problem. Let's go to our water pouch and take a sip. And the water pouch that we have has an inventory. And the reason why I want to take a sip is we could grab some water out of the sink. This doesn't hold a lot of water. I just bought the cheapest hunk of junk. Ideally, you're going to want a flask. But let's go steal some water, or salvage some water, if we can, before I go and repair the pellet feeder. So here is their sink, and you can see the sink has an inventory. So if I open up my pouch's inventory, I can just take water. Granted, I can only hold 2 units of water, but it's like better than nothing. Okay, next repair. I think I'm actually going to repair the CO2 scrubber. Because I'm standing right here. So we need to deliver... what? Motor, heatsink, motherboard, 2 mechanical parts, 1 electric part, and 2 scrap steel. So I'll just fast forward time until we've collected all that stuff. Luckily, these big derelict ships typically have a ton of like repair components, so you can source all the materials that you need for the repair locally, so you don't draw down from your own supply, which is really convenient. And scrubber's done. Uninstall it and bring this back as well. Oh, the battery on this derelict ran dry. Power's out. So I need a 2x3 space to drop this. Here? Oh, yes. So this is what happened. Power went out and the doors closed. So I have to pry them back open. Because I was relying upon powered doors up until this point. So I couldn't get back to my ship because doors got force closed. Okay, we have a 3x3 spot here, and then if I clean up some of this debris in our airlock, we'll have a 3x3 in the airlock as well. And then the pellet feeder is not a very large component, so it should be pretty easy to manage. So let's put some of this stuff in the bin. So our bin now has 15 scrap aluminum, 20 mechanical parts, 17 electrical, 10 scrap steel, 23 carbon fiber, and the rest of the the screen I'll put here. The rest of this stuff can go on the ground elsewhere. I don't need it. It's not worth enough. So we freed up a lot of space. All right, the next thing we want to repair is the pellet feeder. We'll just fast forward through collecting all the repair required, which is a motor, 3 mechanical, 2 electrical, aluminum, and carbon fiber. What would you say the end game is for this game? It's sandbox, so it really is up to you. For me, it's to make a nice ship, take my ship and flip it and improve it upon it continually. But like, you really do make up your own goals entirely, so it's truly up to you. Whether you want to like gain citizenship rights, have a fusion reactor ship, buy an apartment, have a girlfriend. It's like totally open-ended. All right, then the next thing we could do is uninstall the reactor core. The reactor core is worth a lot. Not the most that you can find on a reactor chip, to be honest. Like there are some tanks that would have been better, but... And let's grab these reactor core components and drag them back. And I'm not going to have space for all of them, but I'll have space for some of them. Maybe I can Jenga for most of them. We'll see. Yeah, I'll have space for all of them, actually. I will not, however, have space for another cooler. I don't think. I'll assess once I got them all in. And then what I want to do is like one last run through of the ship to make sure I'm not missing anything critical. So this nav station, I'm going to queue up a repair. I'm missing a motherboard. Okay, so when I'm walking through this thing, I should be keeping an eye out for a motherboard. Am I choosing not to just dump items on top of one another? Yes, I am indeed choosing that. Mostly because it can break your saves, but also just like as a personal challenge. There actually might not be a spare motherboard here for that nav. Come on. Pry that open. Electric components. Yeah, I'm not seeing a motherboard. Yeah, it's the stacking loot is like an unintended consequence of game mechanics, which I don't, from what I've been told / read, is not intended. So you can do it, but it's like Oh, did I leave it in here? No, I didn't. But it's like at your own risk sort of concept. I'll take a toothbrush. Yeah, maybe there is no motherboard here. I think if there was, I would have like automatically walked to it. Your hoarder tendencies? I mean, don't let it stop you. If you want to do it, do it. You've just been slightly warned. It didn't break my save. It only broke my save like once or twice, and it wasn't like a critical break. It was a recoverable break. All right, let's try to cancel task and repair it one more time. Yeah, so I don't have a motherboard. That's fine. So we'll have to pick up a motherboard back at K-Leg, I think. At this point, we're just about full. There's some other nice things to do. So one of the nice things I'd like to do before I leave is to uninstall some of these like harsh blue lights in lieu of yellow ones, which are just easier on the eyes. It's very much a aesthetic project. It totally does not change the function of our ship, but easier on the eyes is kind of nicer. Unfortunately, I let the power run out on the ship, so it's really hard to find the lights now because power died. There were yellow lights, I think, here. Yes, this was a yellow light. So I'll just do one yellow light, so I'm not on like a wild goose chase trying to find them all. And I'll do one last sweep. There's a chance that there's like there's a chance that there's like gas cans or something that I missed. So let's just make sure that all the gas cans that I've selectively ignored and I'm not picking up don't have like nice gas in them. Before we leave. So, N2 can, 68. I guess nitrogen, I don't really care about unless RCS is dead. Because nitrogen cans are not worth much. Unless, of course, you need the fuel. So there's this O2 can that is at 8%. That's really not worth taking. That's pretty empty. Oh, did I ever check this bin? Fusion manual. I'm assuming I didn't. But I don't need a fusion manual. Although they can be expensive, but I don't care. Okay, I think we're good. I think anything worth something has been pulled. I'm not seeing a whole lot left on this bad boy. There are obviously stuff I didn't grab, like the coolers or the doors or whatever. But I'm not trying to necessarily min-max. I feel pretty comfortable with what I grabbed, and we'll have a lot of work cut out for us on our way back home. Thank you for tuning in to Ostranauts, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow space scrappers.